Embrace the magic.
So guys, I'm gonna cut straight to the chase. One of the main reasons why you need to play Wrath of Righteous is because of the character customization. You have basically 26 classes, 178 archetypes, with maybe more upcoming in the future DLC, 13 prestige classes, and you can multi-class as much as you want. And if that's not enough, you still have the mythic paths. The mythic paths are unlocked at the end of Act 2, and basically you have Angel, you have Azata, you have Demon, you have Lich, you have Trickster, and then you have late game paths, which come at MR8, which is Devil, Gold Dragon, and Swarm, as well as Legend. So that's a lot of options that not just impact your gameplay, your character, but also the narration of the story. So my advice for character creation is choose whatever you want. It's your hero, you decide what that hero is like. And I'm going to explain to you why this works even for unfair difficulty. So the next step is choosing a portrait. You can choose any of the nice little portraits that come already with the game, but I highly recommend that you also do a custom portrait. And as you can see, I already have some available here. And there are two very easy ways to do this. You can obtain portrait packs from Nexus. So here, for example, on the first page, I grabbed the Moonlit Portrait Pack. You just go to Files, Download, and then you just drag the zipped files to your portrait folder. So it's pretty straightforward. The second option is just, maybe Googling what you want, like female fighter portrait, seeing what the options are. Okay, so I find this one really nice, this blonde female fighter. So I'm gonna go with that one. After saving the file, you can go to something like Noxtra's Gate, where it cuts the images exactly to the size that you want. So all it takes is 3 clicks. For example, you can click here, Pathfinder Wrath of Righteous. Choose the file that you want. In this case, I'm going to use the one I just downloaded of the female fighter. And then you just crop for each format that is necessary for the Wrath of Righteous game. So normally, for each smaller format, you want to pick a smaller part of the body, just so it looks better. And as you can see, for the small format, I'm just going to select the face, because that's usually what you want to see on the portrait before you open it up. So you save your portrait, then you go to refresh portraits, and voila, there's now the female fighter portrait that I wanted, and that's just perfect. So make the character you want, choose the portrait you want, and before we go on to more advanced topics, for those who play on the PC, which you should really, here are also my mod recommendations. Okay, so first of all, you install Modfinder so you can see all the mods that exist for the game, and then I absolutely recommend at least 2 mods, which is Bubble Buffs and Respec Mod, and I'm gonna show what they do in a second. Toybox is also very useful. With Bubble Buffs, you just head over to your spellbook, go to Buff Setup, and basically you decide who's gonna cast each buff, and you can exclude people that you don't want casting such a buff. You can also program abilities to be also instant castable. So here's what it looks like in practice. With the click of a button, all buffs are made. And if you're worried that it's a little bit of a cheating thing, since all the animations are instantly cast, you can also program for full animations. I just think it's a waste of time. Most encounters end before your buffs end. As for the respec mod, it does exactly what you think. It allows you to respec from level 1 any character, which to me should have been a basic feature of the game. And lastly, Toybox. You can do a number of interesting things like adding more experience, adding more gold, killing all enemies, full resting everyone. Mostly this is done for testing purposes, otherwise you're cheating. But you could also do like little tweaks, like maybe you put the skill point in the wrong place and you only just saw that later and you don't want to do a full respec, so you just swap skill points from one place to another. So that's an option. You can also, and this is the part I find more interesting, you can also spawn items or enemies. So let's say you want to fight a demon, a babao for some reason, just to test your character, and you can just spawn a babao in front of you and enter combat. So while I don't think Toy Box is necessary for everyone, like the other two mods, I do think it's very useful in the right circumstances. Okay, so Wrath is a hard game, which is fun, there's challenge, but you do need to know certain things for harder difficulties, and one of them is how to improve your attack bonuses. Again, how to improve your attack bonus so you can hit your enemies. And here's one example. Inspired Rage from the Skald gives you +3 attack bonus, which is actually a +7 bonus if you have the Mythic Inspiration. And you can also get Lethal Stance, which is another up to +6 competence melee attack bonus, or if you'd rather have a untyped bonus instead, you can go for Reckless Stance, although mind you that does reduce armor class. So if you have a Skald in your party, you're looking at up to a +13 bonus to attack, as well as bonuses to natural armor class and party-wide pounce, as well as around level 16 an increased crit multiplier. Next we have Paladins, which have of course Smite Evil, which is perfect for a demon campaign, since most enemies are evil. And what you get is a charisma bonus to attack roll, as well as increased damage, and charisma to deflection to AC. And at level 11, the Paladin gets Mark of Justice, where everyone in the party benefits from the increased charisma bonus to attack. So this is evidently extremely good, especially if your Paladin has very high charisma. So next up we have the Ranger, and the Ranger is obviously very good against certain enemies, and the main enemy you're going to want to fight is Outsiders. Alcat did separate the Outsiders into 3 categories of demons. Demons of magic, slaughter, and something else. And what the Demon Slayer does, you just get the bonuses to all types of demons. So this again is amazing in this campaign, and it goes up to a +10 bonus at the highest level. However, you also get some quarry bonuses and other things, but you can also divide that bonus with the party. It's the half of your favorite enemy bonus, so you can get up to a +5 bonus to the whole party as well. If you want to play other ranger archetypes and you don't want to, play with this Albrew thing of dividing demons into 3 types, I highly suggest downloading the mod Tabletop Tweaks. It allows you to treat all demons as just outsiders for your favorite enemy, which is what the tabletop rules indicate. So another popular way to get your attack bonuses up is Guarded Hearth, which clerics can get at level 8 through the community domain. And Guarded Hearth is basically wisdom bonus to attack rolls, competence bonus, mind you, and to saving throws as well. But most importantly, it just gives you that amazing boost that lasts a whole boss fight, for example. Now, since we're talking about improving attack bonuses, we have to mention the fighter, which gets weapon training. Well, I think there's Sohei as well, and a certain cavalier archetype. And this is very important since it gives you a up to +4 attack bonus, but with the gloves of dueling, You can also increase that by a further +2 maybe or more. And this is why the Mutation Warrior is such a good solid archetype, since besides having all that, you still have the mutagens that increase your attack bonuses as well. Okay, so going back to the Cleric, we also have domains that increase the attack bonus by a +10 if you consider all 20 Cleric levels, and one of them is Touch of Good. And remember that with the Mythic Domain Zealot, you can use these domains as swift actions, which makes them infinitely better. Madness Domain is also a very interesting case where you can use it as a buff or as a debuff if you want to debuff the enemy's attacks or saves. And for yourself, you can use it to buff your attack saves and or skill checks even by also a +10, since it's a cleric level divided by 2. And also it's some types, so it stacks with everything, I believe. And an honorable mention as well, there's also the strength domain, which works as an enhancement bonus, which does stack with magical enhancement weapons, and I believe it works with melee weapons. So cleric domains very, very useful in Wrath of Righteous, especially after you get domain zealot. So next up we have to mention the brown fur transmuter. It's a very popular archetype, even though I don't think it's that amazing, but it does get powerful change at level 3, which basically boosts any transmutation ability by another +2. So if you use powerful change with, let's say, bull strength and enlarge person, you're already giving an extra +4 stat that you normally would not have at level 3. So that is pretty significant in the early game. I do think later on it becomes less important, but a brown fur transmuter is definitely a good archetype that boosts all your stats. Lastly, we have the Judgement of Justice from Inquisitors that gives a +1 secret bonus to attack rolls that stack up to +5, right? And with the Judge archetype, you can actually share this bonus with the rest of the party members. Even though, yes, it does require maybe 2 turns, so it's a bit slow, but still a way to increase attack bonuses for the party. Oh yes, and we can't leave out the Magus that has at level 3 Magus Arcana, and the main one you want to get is Arcane Accuracy, which gives a intelligence bonus to all attack rolls for that turn. So pump your intelligence, pump your attack bonus. Amazing ability. So by now you can see that there are many ways that in your party composition you can improve attack bonuses. But what if there's another way? And here I'm going to introduce, for example, a way to target flat-footed AC without any issue. And a bard or a skald can do this, for example, through Dirge of Doom, which bards get at level 8. And this automatically applies Shaken condition to all enemies in the aura, in the song aura. So why is this important? Because if you combine Shaken with Shatter defenses, basically you get to attack every Shaken enemy with its flat-footed AC, and the flat-footed AC loses dexterity bonus and other maybe dodge bonuses as well. And this is just amazingly powerful, especially for harder difficulties. You can also achieve this with Frightful Aspect spell, which is a late game spell, or some kind of Intimidate build. But let's not stop there, shall we? What if we want to target touch AC? Well, an easiest way is to use Raise, Spell Raise. And Hellfire Ray is a classic example. Lots of classes, spellcasting classes like Sorcerer will build towards doing a powerful Hellfire Ray build. And basically by combining Draconic Bloodline, although now with the latest patch you can't combine multiple dragons with the same element. but you still have items that contribute to the fire tag and so on. And also easy way to target touch ACs by going kineticist and choosing an energy type blast. So that's basically fire, cold, and electric. And but the only one that can do a composite energy blast that targets touch AC is fire, which is the blue flame. Also, I cannot forget to mention Magas, since Magas have both a prescient attack that basically makes the enemy flat-footed to their attacks for that turn, and this they acquire at level 6, but they also have Dimension Strike, which can target touch AC with melee attacks from level 9 onwards. So this is why Sword Saint is so popular, since you can tank well and do damage and hit things quite easily. Oh, and if all else fails, you can debuff the enemy's AC, which is just as effective as increasing your attack bonus. So an example of this is Shaman. With Hampering Hacks, you can decrease the enemy's AC and CMD by -4, right? You can also pick up the Stone Spirit, which it's a -6 decrease to AC for 3 rounds. So this one is very nice. And there's no save, and it works only with metal weapons, but most weapons that are useful are made of metal. And lastly, the even more reliable one is the Evil Eye, which is also similar to the Witches. Basically, it's another -4 to AC or even other checks, and you can keep it up indefinitely with Chant or Cackle. So if you realize by now, a single shaman can get up to a -14 AC to a single enemy. That's the equivalent of a +14 attack bonus. So going back to what I said initially, why does it not matter even for unfair difficulty what you choose for your MC or Knight Commander? Because you have the party to back up. So if you have a Paladin for Mark of Justice, if you have a Skald for all the bonuses, or Bard for Dirge of Doom and Shatter Defenses, if you have a Cleric for Guarded Hearth and Domain buffs, if you have a Shaman for debuffs, Inquisitor Ranger for more buffs, a BFT or an Alchemist, you are gonna be successful even in unfair difficulty. It doesn't matter if you roll Joel the Peasant as the Knight Commander, you will be successful. But to me, here's where the fun begins, when you create a theme and you decide to support that theme through synergies. Here are 4 examples. So let's say you want to do a fire-based theme, and your Knight Commander is basically some fire sorcerer of the type. How do you support this playstyle? So you can do this through Flame Curse, which is a single target fire vulnerability. Elemental Blast, it's a 9th level Elemental Bloodline ability that does AoE vulnerability, and Draconic Bloodline gives you +1 fire damage per dice. You can also do something fun like Scaled Fist Monk with +1d6 fire damage per unarmed attack. Combine that with Fiery Body, which is an extra 3d6 fire damage, and you also have the Kineticist Composite Blue Flame Blast. Let's talk about chilly builds, right? Beckoning Chill is another Shaman Hacks that roots enemies when they take cold damage. Elemental Blast is also AoE cold vulnerability. Freezing Cold is the Winter Witch's ability to make spells higher caster level. Eclipse Chill is the Lich's ability to make enemies vulnerable to cold. Waterfall is an Azatha spell that does the same thing. You can also do AoE cold damage with Whirlwind of Hail, which is the Winter Child Blizzard Elemental's ability, and Blizzard, which is an Oracle Revelation. Next up, how about a poison build? You have the new mythic ability Corruptor, which allows you to bypass immunities. Combine that with Stinking Cloud, which is a great poison level 3 spell. Makes enemies nauseated. Spit Venom makes enemies blinded. Just with a touch attack. Serpentine Fang is a Blood Rager ability that also does poison along with the bite damage. Incense Fog gives you a -6 debuff against poisons, and Pernicious Poison is also a no save -4 debuff against poison. But what if you want to kill your enemies by laughter? You can invest in Hideous Laughter and the mythic ability Best Jokes, which allows you to distribute the laughter in the best way possible. So you can support this through Incense Fog, it's up to a -6, no save debuff. Fey Bloodline gives you +2 DC on Compulsion, and Order of the Scourge is a -4 DC on mind effects. Mind Fog can give you up to a -10 penalty on will saves, and Undead Bloodline Arcana allows you to make skeletons laugh. So here's an example in unfair difficulty of how easy it was to make a Vrock fall down laughing. But the fun thing about Wrath is that it doesn't stop here. There are plenty of other things you can do, other types of builds, combat maneuver builds, where you invest in CMB and do trips or disarms. Save or die builds, either through Phantasmal Killer, Weird, or even Assassinate. You can do crit builds through Trickster, Outflank. You can do lightning builds, which work very well in a certain area of the game. You can do mounted charge builds since you get so much bonuses on a charge, especially with a spear and with a cavalier. You can do avoidance builds where you just dodge like crazy, and using mobility with trickster, you can attack every time you dodge. So there's so many options, and I'm still finding out even with thousands of hours of gameplay. All this is what makes the game fun to me and keeps me coming back to Wrath of Righteous, and this is why you should come back as well or play the game for the first time if you haven't already. Sorry this was a long video, but I hope you learned something or enjoyed some of it, and have a great time. A happy new year.
Thank you for watching, fellow wizard, and may magic be with you.